What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of the HMA Fantasy Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Pughley, and I am joined today by my two dudes, Jack and Earl. How you doing today, Earl?
Great, man. It feels like we haven't talked in forever after all the tournaments we've had and all the different shows. So it's good to chat it up with you guys again.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely had at least it was over a week, I guess, since our last time talking. And we've had actual wrestling since then. Speaking of actual wrestling, Jack, how are you doing?
Good, man. Just drove up from Dallas to Virginia, kind of self-quarantining for about 10 days here with some friends and family, and then I'm back up to New York. I'm going to get ready for October.
Heck yeah. So, first of all, how long of a drive is it from Dallas to Virginia?
18 hours.
Yeah.
And it gets better every time. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty drive, too. So you go through Tennessee, and Virginia is obviously a gorgeous place. So there's a lot of trees, a lot of nature. So it's not like a boring drive. Sometimes you drive like 3 hours in Texas and you're like falling asleep because it's just desert. it's not like going through the mountains, man. It was awesome though. It was a good time.
Yeah. Very cool. That's a long time to be driving. And you said you were driving up with your mom, right? So at least you weren't by yourself.
Yeah. Well, when you're getting your ear talked off the whole time, I love her, but how about this question on this, gets old.
Well, I was on the phone with you yesterday for a little bit, and at one point Jack just stops talking and goes, "Hold on a second." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I just sat there, and he came back. He goes, "Sorry, my mom just drove the car into the other lane. There's an 18-wheeler. She tried to kill us." It's like,
dude, she is okay. She texts and drives, and it is really scary. It's always in the other lane. Like she cannot hold the wheel straight to save her life. And then when she's passengering, and like one thing goes wrong, and I'm like, shut up. Like I'm trying, you're freaking me out. You don't want me to be freaked out. So
that's funny.
I mean, it was good, but it started getting old near the end.
Well, you made it.
We made it.
Thank
goodness, man.
And so you're, I guess, checking in with the girlfriend for a few days and then going back up to New York?
Yeah. I'm going to go up to New York and start working on this weight that I got to get off.
So you said October, right? So
October 9th, yeah, 9th through 11th.
On what's going on October 9th?
So there's like a senior nationals, and they're being really sketchy on like what it does, how you can go. They have said nothing, because I'm assuming they're not going to like let it be an open where everyone gets to go. Maybe, but I could see it being very packed if that's the case. Maybe they cap it off at a certain number, but they haven't said if it qualifies you for next year's Olympic trials. They haven't said if it qualifies you for the World Championship. So right now it's just a tournament. It's what it is, senior nationals. So hopefully all the best guys go, all the best girls, all the best Greco guys. And you win. It's gonna be in Iowa. The venue looks pretty cool, actually. Not exactly sure where it is.
It's in Coralville, which I think is close to Iowa City. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, they had a picture of the stadium. If you go online and look up information, they have a picture of it. It looks really cool. And then 2 weeks after that, they're actually doing a U23s in Akron. So I don't know if they're also doing a SEA Cadet, because that's what they usually do. That's going to be interesting to me, because there's like 1,000 people at that tournament every year. And it's not social distance at all. They could, because I don't know if you guys have been there, but they like take a quarter of the indoor football field and put all the wrestling mats there. If they open that thing up, I bet they could social distance pretty easily there. Don't you think? Have you been there, Earl?
No, I've just seen the videos, watch it in the past.
Yeah, so they probably fence it off at the 40-yard line, and it's a huge indoor football field that they have it in. So they could probably spread it out, but there's about 20 mats, 25 mats.
And you can wrestle U23.
I can, yeah. We'll see if that's the plan. It just depends on how the senior nationals goes.
Yeah,
Just do that.
Yeah, as of now, it seems like the only thing on the line is seeding for the Olympic trials, because they said those matches will count for seeding.
But yeah, there's no qualification. Like, that's crazy. What if I'm better than most of these guys? I was injured last senior nationals. I couldn't even wrestle. So if I beat some of these guys, like, that would suck if they have qualification and I don't, and I'll still have to go to last chance. I think that's interesting. Like, maybe they should do it for a wild card spot or something. Like, if you're top 5 and don't have a spot, then you should be able to go. Something like that. But then again, why would they want to make it more or less? I don't even know. I bet they don't want that many people to go. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Have we heard any more about the World Championships being in December, possibly?
I think they have a date and a location.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think we still have to say that we're going as a country, and they have to have, I think, 8 out of the top 10 nations from each style say that they're going to compete in it for it to be an official World Championships. So,
and I know Russia is in, but Iran seems out, and they're a top 10 team.
So is that? Well, I forgot what I was going to say now. Are we going to have just the Olympic weight classes, or is it going to be all the weight classes?
Just Olympic weight classes. Yep, that's what they said. Just the 6 Olympics.
Yeah, because that was going to be my other question. If they had all the weight classes, I was wondering if you and Seth were still going to go 57 or if you would go 61 or consider it. If they had all. Yeah.
No, I'm never going 61. Dude, this weekend, I was shocked with how big he was. I don't know if y'all can notice that, but as soon as he got it on my leg, I was like, holy crap. I'm not used to this. And it was just it was hard to move him. So, obviously I'm talking about Roman Bravo Young. For those of you who don't know, lost this weekend 8-1. And it was I started off real slow, very flat. And right away he got in on a leg, and I was just like, wow, he's big. Yeah, so 61's out for sure. And I was walking around at 35 going into it, and the weight class was 137. Yeah, so 25 for life, man. I'm never going 61.
Yeah, I know I talked to him at one point. So it was weird because, leading up to the match, I feel like most people most of us were under the illusion that you were probably bigger, right? Weight wise, number wise, I think a lot of people thought that you were probably coming in being a little bit bigger. But even if that's true, whatever the numbers are when you guys are just hanging out, I think he's just, I think he's just a little bit bigger and maybe, I don't know. I don't think that he cuts a whole lot for 33, but I don't think he could go down past it. When I talked to him, he said that he had wanted to go 125 at certain points, but it just wasn't possible for him. So I don't know what all that means. I don't want to speculate on that, but I think, I think he was probably a little bit bigger. He definitely looked bigger to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no. People that I've been talking to were yeah, he looked way bigger. He was about 2 or 3 inches taller than me too. He just felt huge. I was shocked.
So let's just go ahead and Sam and Jude already actually hit on, they recapped the whole flow event for themselves, but we're not going to spend the entire time doing that, but obviously we're going to go through it and give our thoughts too. So let's go ahead and start off going through that. And, we'll finish up talking about your match. I know technically it wasn't in that order, but we're already talking about it. So the one question I have, and well, actually I have questions, but if you don't want to answer my questions, tell me to shut up. But my question was, like, the first scoring exchange that happened, you shot in. So I can't remember exactly how it happened, but it was some kind of a like arm drag or some kind of a setup with the arms, shot in, and he like just like it's like that weird like RBY spin behind wizardry he does, man. Like, you shot in, it was a good shot, and then he was just behind. And like, for me watching it, your face, you looked a little surprised. And I mean, I don't know, just can you walk us through like what happened there, what you were thinking?
So the first exchange was actually he shot in from the outside and got in on my leg.
Okay.
So there was 2-0. And then the second one, I shot in and he just like disappeared. Yeah. And went over the top. And I feel like he was ready for me in terms of like he knew what I had and was pretty prepared, honestly. And I didn't go in watching any film at all. I was just going to go out there and wrestle. And, I was slow and I just felt like flat a little bit. And I don't know if y'all remember this. Y'all definitely do when I remind you. But Vito and Sammy's match ends at like 7:10. Mm-hmm. We didn't start wrestling till 8 o'clock because of the blackout. So like I'm dripping in sweat, ready to go. And then it's like, our site just crashed.
Yeah, I was wondering if that had any sort of effect.
And it's like another hour? Are you serious? So, I think my mind was racing at that point and definitely had an effect.
I will say though, obviously it definitely had an effect on you, and sorry to jump in. But that whole situation with the flow site going down and everybody being like, you probably weren't even in the know, obviously, because you're just getting ready for the match. But there was, I guess, few of us that actually still had everything going, right? Like my stream wasn't affected at all, but it seemed like 95% of the wrestling world was just locked out. And so like Twitter's blowing up, like going crazy. And I don't know what happened. I don't want to speculate on it or whatever, but I will say, as much as it probably sucked for you guys and everybody else that was going, it was good that they at least decided, hey, let's just like stop this until we figure it out. Because I know I would have been pissed, and a lot of other people would have been pissed if you'd have, especially if you'd have paid money, got your subscription just for this event, and then that happened, right?
So yeah, no doubt they had to stop it. I think they should do pay-per-view or try and get with some like a bigger. I don't even know what. I need to do more research on this, but like, how come some pay-per-view events, like, there is no problem with the stream? Like, maybe set up a deal with ESPN where Flow uses their stuff. I don't know. And then do pay-per-view from there. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, and maybe they're like competitors in some sort of way.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. That's ridiculous at this point. It happens all the time. Every time there's a big event, Flow streams go down. I love Flow, but it's driving me insane because what was the last one? Remember my freshman year, Oklahoma State, Penn State, when Nick Sirianni blew out his ankle, streams crashed. Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Well, and then they went to Big Ten. That's why it hasn't happened in a while, because it was on Big Ten. Mm-hmm. And like all the Ohio State, Penn State matches have been fine. They haven't crashed. So just use a provider or something, like a television provider, maybe. Stream it from there.
Yeah.
Dude, I will say this about RBY. I definitely underestimated him because he's a lot better than I thought he was. He's going to kill it. He felt really strong and he felt really fast. And
Yeah.
honestly, I went in with 3 weeks of training. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't I'm not kidding. I was sitting on the couch doing nothing for the past 3 months. So, I kind of deserve to get my ass whooped a little bit, but now it's whatever. I mean, I'm probably never going to wrestle him again. So if I do, it'll be at my weight on my terms, and I think I
So,
like that more.
do you think, first of all, are you a guy outside of this match that usually watches tape, or, and also like, let's say this match happened again. Let's say they were just like, all right, we're running this thing back September 1st or whatever. Would you watch tape next time?
Yeah, I definitely watch film. I would definitely watch some film. I'm a big film watcher, usually, but like this match, it didn't matter to me. Didn't matter to me at all.
Yeah.
I think I don't need to prepare for him. I need to prepare myself for when I get down. Because right now, like personally, I think I'm really good when I'm on the offense and attacking. But I think I got shocked right away. Like I said, I felt like, holy crap, he's big. And it kind of like took me a whole period to get over that. And the second period was a lot closer, and I was pushing the pace more, and ended up getting on his leg twice. And just like the first period was terrible. It was really bad.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with what you said there. Like, I think, the first takedown, it happened, whatever, people get taken down, whatever, you kind of shook it off. I think that second one, like I said, just, you could see kind of like a little bit of a surprised look. And I think it kind of threw you off a little bit. But yeah, and I'd love to see it again when both you guys have been training and there's not, Corona going on. But you can't make any excuses. This is the situation we were in, but I would definitely love to see it again. So
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Hats off to him because he felt ready, and he has been training hard, so he deserved to kill me like that. I'm
yeah,
excited for the next opportunity to go out and compete, and I think like kind of a stepping stone for me. Been only in New York for 3 weeks, like I said, training for 3 weeks, and I felt like I've already gotten a lot better. And I just need to work on a few things, maybe, and then I think I'll be back and better than ever. I like my situation, and I'm not discouraged at all.
I'm sure it's good to have a match like this, just like you said, as a stepping stone rather than having it at senior nationals or last chance qualifier or something, like just something to,
For
get
sure,
everything out.
for sure, because you're gonna have these matches where you're flat and not moving, and I'm excited to go out and to senior nationals and be at 57 and be like, holy crap, I'm a lot bigger than these guys. I'm ready to go.
yeah. I mean, that's even something I said to my wife while we were watching it right after it ended. I was like, as much as it sucks, I was definitely obviously pulling for Jack. We got bigger stuff coming down the pipe, and if there's a match that you want to get kind of punched in the mouth in, it's definitely not at senior nationals. You'd rather kind of get that wake up call match back into competition kind of before, right? Because when you hit all these dudes at senior nationals, it's their first time wrestling in 6 months or whatever.
Yeah,
You're going to be the wake up call. So kind of good to get that out of the way real quick,
for sure, for sure.
because it happens to everybody. But other matches, I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about, or you want to go to the other ones?
No, I'm good.
Cool. So back at the top, we started off with Vito and Sammy, which was a great match. I think it ended how I thought it was going to end. I don't know about you guys, but it was a fun match, and I really do think it went exactly how I thought. Like I thought Vito would pretty much dominate the match, and Sammy would have his kind of moment, right? He'd have a takedown or something, which he did. But at the end of the day, I think it kind of went how I thought it would. Did you get to watch any of the match, Jack, before? Or I know you've probably watched it since.
Yeah, I was kind of watching it before I went out. I think personally, and I know he thinks this too, I think Vito was pretty flat as well. I don't think that was a good veto at all. Just kind of sloppy. And he was like talking about it. He was like, yeah, if I wrestled someone else, I might be on the losing side of things today. I think Sammy's just kind of young when it comes to freestyle. Dude, that kid's huge. He's gonna have a hell of a time making 33 next year if it happens. But huge. I was shocked. He looked like he was kind of sucked out for 40 too.
Big broad shoulders, big frame. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
something
no,
I
he
gotta
looks big.
something I gotta throw in there. Like you were saying, it's gonna be a heck of a time for him to make 133. After that match, I don't know if it was that night or the next day or whatever. There was a tweet from Sammy that talked about thank you Flo, blah blah blah. But he somehow said basically thank you for letting me wrestle the last match of 2020 is how he put it, like his last match in 2020. And so if we're going to have a college season, right, as far as I know, Rutgers hasn't postponed to second semester. So if there's going to be any type of a college season, did that kind of like slip like redshirt Sammy?
He's already redshirted, I think.
No, he was a true freshman last year.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I thought he was at NC State. Is that someone else?
I think he signed with them. I know he committed to them. I don't know if he signed and then
Okay, I thought he spent a year at NC State and then he transferred. My bad.
The last second he went from NC State to Rutgers.
No, he needs a redshirt. He needs a redshirt and go 41 because I don't think that he can make 33. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he can do it.
Well, it's just
and if he can, he's definitely gonna perform on a 1 hour weigh-in.
It surprised me, and I don't know, maybe I'm digging too much into it, but like when he said that, obviously there's the whole like, is Suriano coming back? If Suriano came back, how would they fit everybody? Because they obviously Aguilar at 25, Sammy's at 33, Sebastian's now at 41. When he said that, in my mind was like, ooh, are they going to redshirt Sammy? Does that mean Suriano's back at 33?
I know Suriano's not big, so he could go 25, but Suriano's Suriano, and he's going to do whatever the heck he wants. So,
yeah.
I don't think that kid's making 33 ever again, though. He's going 41. He looked like he was cutting weight for 40, to be honest.
So, man, can you imagine if Suriano came back and went 25 and, I've heard so many rumors. I don't think I necessarily agree, but fix 25. Do you think
going 25?
Yeah, so I was thinking. I was like, is that a possibility? Can you imagine if those three were at 125 next year?
I could, if Fix went 25, that's the weight class I wanted. I wanted it to be all four of us at 25.
Yeah.
And if Sebastian was there too, that'd been sick. Could you imagine?
Oh yeah.
That would be so much fun. And then it would, yeah, that's the weight class I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State, they like to, suck down their guys. They cut as much weight as possible. So I'm sure that's on the table. If I had to bet, I'd think it would be 33, but who knows? Yeah. I mean, it would be best for the team if he was at 25 for sure, but I don't know.
Yeah. So,
I'm betting both of them 33, depending on if they wrestle this year.
I don't know if Suriano will wrestle. I think he might get into fighting.
I saw him at the Big Ten tournament, and, he's standing 7-8 feet away from the mat, kind of just with his arms crossed against the wall, and you're having these crazy matches with the Rutgers guys. He's not even, batting an eye. Me kind of reading into, body language and stuff, I'm thinking, if it's my teammate and, he's in a sudden victory match at the Big Ten, you're kind of going crazy at the side of the mat, cheering for him or something. He looked like he'd rather be anywhere else in the world. So, I mean, he's
not a team player.
He's a different type of guy. So to me, it wasn't like, this guy's going to be back to, fight with his team. It seemed like he was kind of disassociating himself with the team, but again, he was
training at NYC RTC.
Yeah.
He wasn't even training with his own club because he didn't like his team. That's why he was training in New York City, because he didn't want to be in Rutgers. He didn't want to be at New Jersey RTC.
Hey, man. Well, I guess time will tell. I guess we'll see who comes back. And did we ever hear, definitely can people take a second Olympic red shirt? I mean, I know that people can take it in their career, but like back to back.
Oh, for next year. Good question.
About a month and a half ago, I talked to Sean Bourmet. He has all those guys.
Yeah.
So, at that point, he hadn't heard anything about it one way or the other. So I don't know if there's been a ruling that's come down, or, I guess they could. I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing if you're, going to go to school for 7 years or whatever it is, but who knows?
So that just still blows my mind, because if, the guy that jumps out to me is Fix. If Fix did that and took a second Olympic red shirt, you guys realize when he came back for his sophomore year in college, he would have a degree from Oklahoma State.
Dude, he's like my age.
Yeah.
Now,
I never got held back. He got held back. We're the same age.
Now, the thing I think to look out for is I've heard rumblings from different coaches that they're going to try to redshirt everybody possible, just because, this could be a really weird season. We had the, terrible ending to last season. So I don't think coaches want to lose 2 seasons for their elite athletes if, they can avoid it. So we may see a lot of guys that hadn't redshirted in the past take ones, maybe like a RBY.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be smart for him, for sure.
But what if, question there though, if you're a guy like RBY who was definitely in the title hunt last year, he was right there with those top 3 or 4 guys, but I think, especially at the Big Ten finals, we can kind of agree that he wasn't the favorite, right? Sebastian kind of handled it. They were right there together, but yeah, a little there was still kind of a pecking order. If you're a guy like that, who's like right on the cusp, but not really the guy, let's say, I can't even think in my head, Micic, Fix, both redshirt. Do you still redshirt because maybe I just want to save this year in case whatever happens? Or do you say, screw it, those guys are gone, let's go win one now?
I think that's a bad risk to take. Bad risk. It's not worth it. Season gets canceled. Dude, if I knew this season was going to get canceled, I would have redshirted for sure.
Yeah.
I think generally from, following the sport for a little while now, I normally would say if you can win this year, you win this year. Next year is not guaranteed as far as injuries, whatever else happens to you. So you try to win when you can, but when you have this kind of hanging over your head, this is kind of an exception where, you kind of got to do what's best for yourself. And if that's redshirting and potentially avoiding this disaster, then so be it.
Man, I hope this all gets resolved, man. Just push it to a second semester sport. Give everybody the best shot at that. I don't know. I know that, high schools are doing it, and I'm fingers crossed that North Carolina will do it because I really want it to be a second semester sport anyways. But
Virginia private school hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, Virginia public schools have moved it to the springtime.
Yeah, I saw that. Virginia private schools are still normal stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a little off topic as we usually do. So back to that card, right? So we talked about, Vito. I think I agree with what you said. I don't think Vito looked like he had as much pop as he usually does. I think he handled his business. I think he did what he needed to do to get done, but I 100% agree. Especially in that first period, I was definitely watching going, I thought it'd be over already. I thought that he'd kind of beat up on him a little bit more. How picky am I as a fan to say that when he got the tech anyway? But yeah, no, I agree. I think it's kind of hard for anybody to come in, full tilt with the world like it is right now, though. So I think we got the best veto we could get at the moment. But it was still a fun match, man. Bunch of points on the board. Fun one to watch. Kicked it off. Got everybody excited. And then we had to wait for 2 eternities. But after your match, then we had Pletcher and Caldwell. So what did you guys think about that one?
I think it kind of played out maybe how you would expect, props to Caldwell for coming back and laying it on the line 8 years away from the sport.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's 32 years old. I think he's one of the few guys where, I had it in the back of my mind, like maybe he could do something just because he's such a unique, crazy athlete. Like maybe he could pull this off, but, reality set in and, Pletcher's a stud and, he's been training for, this whole time.
He puked everywhere.
Caldwell?
Yeah. Everywhere. Just
Wow.
But he freaking, like, he had the lead for part of the match, and then he went after it. I think that was super impressive. He's really good dude. He was hanging out with us the whole time. I was really like him. Really like him a lot.
He caught me off guard a little bit because, like, I was fully prepared to see just hell being thrown at Pletcher for the first period. And he came out and was a lot more reserved and, like, calm and collected and, picking his shots. And I think, in my opinion, I thought it was going to be kind of a crazy couple minutes at the beginning and then a Pletcher domination. So I think Caldwell really did a whole lot better than I thought. And I was happy to see that because it really was a good match. It was fun to watch. But yeah, so tell us, are there any fun stories with spike ball or whatever with Caldwell?
Not really. I didn't really work out with Caldwell because I was training with Pletcher actually. Mm-hmm. So Caldwell was working out with like Chamizo and them, but no, it was cool watching. We watched the Bellator fights with him, and it's just cool always watching fights with a fighter, someone that really knows what they're talking about. And he was just a good dude. He was, I don't know, I like him a lot.
So I got a comment too on one of these shows. We asked you about training with Chamizo and if you're ever going to get a takedown on him. So you did get the takedown.
I got the first one. I think I got the first 2. And then he took me down with ease.
Yeah. So
yeah, did you watch it? You watch it?
I saw the one clip, and it didn't I think it actually stopped before you got the 2, but like you were about to get it. You're right there.
Let me tell you, that sucked. That sucked being on his leg. I'm not surprised Jake did not get a takedown. I got in on his leg and it was hell. I was in on the leg for like 50 seconds, a minute. And then I got up and I was like, that wasn't worth it. I'm exhausted.
Yeah. It was funny too with that clip. Like you the whole time are like full tilt trying to get this leg and like obviously talking to you. Like I knew you wanted to get the takedown on him. So like I can see it in your eyes. Like I have to get this. I want to get this. You're like going for it. And then he's just kind of like playing around, just like
that's how he wrestles.
It's so weird.
Unbelievable. The way that he moves is just different. It's so cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so that Pletcher Caldwell match was a good match though, and it was definitely a better match than I thought it was going to be. So it was good to see Caldwell come out and put on. So after that, we've got 2 more matches left. We had David Taylor versus Miles Martin. Jack's hanging his head.
No, I was stretching my neck.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I thought it was probably something with this match. But David dominated, man. He did what he does, and he handled his business. Earl, what did you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I guess, pretty much how I'd expect it to go down. Taylor looks I don't know if he's at the top of his game, but he looked pretty impressive. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to just think of somebody domestically to go with him at 86.
There's no one.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
That was the match to make. That was the match. Like, you could put Zahid up against him, but I don't think that the results would be much different. Personally, David Taylor might be the baddest dude on the planet. I know Jaden for sure. All around Jaden, I would say. But offensively, there's no one better than David Taylor right now in the U.S. and in the world. I think that he can score from anywhere, and his arsenal is unreal. And I think that the match to make, if there is a competitive match to make, it's Sagilayev. I know that that's absurd and yada, 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 but Sagilayev doesn't look super lean at 97 kilo. He's just doing it because he's doing it for a challenge. He was an 86 kilo guy. They could definitely meet at 92. I think that is the match to make if you want to see David Taylor in a competitive match. If you don't want to make it competitive, put him against someone else, because there's no one else that can challenge him in the entire world right now, unless you put Jaden down at 92, or Kyle Snyder at 92. But Snyder's, I don't know if he can make it.
So, yeah, I mean, as far as domestically, I think Zahid is number 2, if you ask me. I mean,
I agree.
I think Zahid's the number 2 guy. I still think David beats him. I still think David beats him handily. I don't think he'd tech him. I don't. I think that Zahid could hang in there. I'm not saying it's a 2-point match, but I don't think he gets teched. Maybe I'm crazy. Who knows? But I think – I don't know. I agree with you 100% about offensively, right? I don't think that there's a better dude in the world offensively. I think David Taylor offensively, pound for pound, best wrestler in the world. And I would love to see that matchup with Sagilayev, but I'd want to see him wrestle Jaden first. And I really want to see how that one would go running it back, because I think both dudes, last time they wrestled, it was an incredible series, and I think both of them have jumped levels since then. Both of them are tremendously better than the last time they wrestled, and so I'd like to see it happen again. Just that kind of old school offense versus defense, who wins battle. And even I think, I don't want to misquote or whatever, but on Twitter, that everybody was talking about, David Taylor calling out Sagilayev and all that kind of stuff. And I think Jaden at one point kind of like quoted one of David's tweets and was like, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but basically like, hold off, Sagilayev. I got him first, kind of deal. Is that how you guys took it?
No, I read it like he wants Sagilayev first.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're going to
okay.
come into the country, you got to go through me first, because I'm going up to your weight. I'm coming at you. If you dodge me, that's bullcrap, because I'm here. I'm here now, and I can take you at your weight. Let's do this first. Let's run this first, and then David can have a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I interpret it too.
Yeah,
that makes more sense. That's why I have you lovely gentlemen around to correct me, because I'm wrong.
Either
often.
matchup, that's freaking awesome. I would take any of those.
Well, see, for me too, like I think Jaden's gonna be the rep at 97. I think that he can beat Kyle, and so I think Jaden and Sagilayev is gonna happen. I think I don't see anybody getting in the way of that being the Olympic final at 97. I mean, obviously there's really good dudes from other countries. I think those are the 2 best dudes in the world, and I really find it hard to believe that anybody's going to get in the way of that. So I think it's going to happen. I would love to see David Sagilayev wrestle. So I mean, I agree. I'd rather see Jaden wrestle Sagilayev first, but I just think that Jaden's going to definitely have a shot at one point. So I'd love to see both of them.
Kyle Snyder can get in the way. I'm picking Jaden. Jaden's my pick. But if I rank the top 6 of the Olympic team, he's like one of the last in confidence because Kyle Snyder's Kyle Snyder. He had a down year, and I mean, everyone does. Everyone has a bad tournament every once in a while. He still is one of the best guys we got. Yeah, I mean, and when Kyle Snyder's on, he's beating Sadulayev. The only one to do it. So, I mean, Snyder can beat him. I think that we're counting out Kyle Snyder too early, too soon, because we haven't, like with the Kyle Dake thing, we've kind of seen Jaden at 92 kilos, which isn't, as Chamizo would say, like, 92 kilo? What's that? It's not an Olympic weight, you know? So, I mean, the competition's going to be a little weaker there. And,
well, he kills me, man. He kills me just discrediting Kyle's championships because they weren't at Olympic weight, but then calls himself a 2-time world champion, which is true, but one of those is not at an Olympic weight.
He's also been to the Olympics and medaled at the Olympics.
No, I have no room here to talk crap, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to say that neither of Kyle's championships don't really mean much because they're not an Olympic weight, then, technically only one of yours does.
Well, he's medaled at Olympic weights.
Yeah.
And Kyle can't make the team at the Olympic weights.
Yeah.
I think that's like where he's going with it. No, but I understand what you mean. Because it's a little confusing there. But
well, question for you here then. All right. I think it's, at least in my mind, undoubted that the top 3 dudes in the world are really clear cut. I think there's 3 guys at the top that are whatever order you want to put them in: Sadulayev, Jaden, and David. What order you put those 3 in?
No, I don't think that's the top 3.
Yeah.
Who do you guys got?
Sidakov is.
I got Sidakov number 4.
He might be number 1.
Yeah.
I think you got to go Sadulayev, Sidakov, and then it's Jaden or David. And I think I'm leaning Jaden, just recency bias. David's been out for a while. Even though David looked freaking sharp, I think it's Jaden number 3.
Okay. Well, whatever we put him in, I can definitely see. I don't know. For me, I think it'd probably be Sadulayev, Jaden, Sidakov, David. Actually, thinking about it now, I think I'd probably have to put Sidakov above David. But I think we can all agree those are the 4 guys, right?
I gotta think.
Yeah, and I don't know. Some people would throw Yazdani in there with
I can't
Taylor
throw
being out, but
can't do that.
Well, my next question was going to be, who's number 5?
Who was the 65 kilo champ? Was it Rashidov?
Yeah.
Dude, Rashidov looked good last time. I think he went through Kishishvili, Haji, Aliyev. I mean, that weight class is loaded, and he went through it pretty easily.
What about
the Japanese guy, too. What's his freaking name? Is it Takahashi? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
I think
57.
So.
And then Agoyev is great, too.
Mm-hmm.
He's been pretty dominant recently.
I think Agoyev's up there for me for sure. What's the dude? 125 kg.
Taha or Gino?
Yeah, Taha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're so close. They almost hurt each other because they're so hand in hand.
Yeah.
Neither one is so dominant. So it's like it almost hurts them in terms of pound for pound.
I think maybe Gino's passing by a little bit. He's a little bit younger, but yeah, they always kind of go back and forth.
Yeah. Who's your top 5, Earl?
Probably Sadulayev, Sidakov. I like Cox. Probably Rashidov Taylor.
Wow. Okay. I think that if you asked me before this event, Dake would have been in my top 5, but now he's not.
Yeah.
I'll go Rashidov as 5. I think that's just the weight class he went through. Let's see. I want to see the route he had to win. I got them pulled up right here.
I think. What do you guys think about Agoya versus Rashidov? Like, why are you guys picking Rashidov over him?
I mean, just kind of like the guys Jack was talking about. 65 is just freaking loaded with former world champions, world medalists. Those guys.
Those are the 2 dudes that I can't decide between.
This was his route. He beat Haji Aliyev in the first round, and then he wrestled a guy from Egypt, and then he beat Otaguro, who was like the returning world champ, I think, or returning silver or something. And then he beat Haji Ali from Bahrain, and then he beat Musakayev from Hungary, the guy that Yanni broke in the semis, and then he beat the guy from Kazakhstan in the finals, who beat Bajrang 9-9.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, 65 kilos is just a little more loaded in terms of talent. Goyev went through the Iranian, the Mongolian, Ravi from India, and then Suleiman Atli, the guy who goes back and forth with Michich. See, I just think that 65 is a little tougher, so I'm going to go Rashidov. And then I don't even know. I'd probably go Gino 6 and then Ugoyev. Or was it Gino that won last or Taha? Whoever won last.
I think it was Gino.
Yeah.
It was. Gino won 6-6.
Well, we're getting, we have about 40 minutes left to talk, so I want to make sure we get to what we really wanted to talk about today. So let's hit on that last match real quick, right? So Dake, Chamizo, what did you guys think about how it went down? Did it go down how you thought? What'd you think?
I said that the score was going to be 4-3 or something like that a while ago. I think you can quote me on that. But honestly, it wasn't how I thought Dake was going to kind of dominate. And he didn't. He didn't even get a takedown. And right then and there, I was like, Bro's our guy. He's going to be our guy. And I think Frankie, could have won the match.
See, I can't get on board with that, though. And everybody's saying that. Everybody's like, oh, it's Burroughs. Obviously, it's Burroughs. We didn't see Burroughs wrestle after this layoff, right? If take out, put Burroughs in, if Burroughs had only won by a point, I don't know.
Yeah, but if you can't get a takedown, how do you expect to win? Especially against Jordan? Because Jordan's going to take you down at least twice.
I don't know. I mean,
you got to get a takedown.
I'll agree that I'll agree that Burroughs is the favorite in my mind. But I don't think that it set Dake back as far as people are making it seem for me. If you look at the whole card, there was really only 2 dudes on the entire card that I thought looked
good,
as good as they would have without this whole thing. I'm not saying look good. No, I'm not saying that. But you got to take in all this Corona stuff, man.
Oh, for sure.
People are dealing with.
Definitely on that. Corona really hurt me.
All right, Jack. Don't try to make me look like a jerk. All right.
No, I'm not making you look like a jerk. I'm totally on. I need to believe that, or else I'm going to be real discouraged.
Well, I think it was RBY and David.
Oh, for sure. I thought that was the best RBY's ever looked. Of course, it was against me. David, awesome. Pletcher looked good too.
Yeah, and he had that match last month at Rumble in the Rooftop, and he didn't look very good then. So
he looked really bad then. Yeah,
he's probably been probably hitting it hard since then. But I mean, it was
I didn't even think about that.
It was both guys, Dake and Chamizo, that probably had to deal with rust. So I kind of just negate that. Personally, for me, I like Burroughs before the match, and obviously nothing's going to change after that.
Man, I really wish that Seth was on today because he is huge. He's always been king stays the king sort of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was definitely high on Dake before, and now I'm changing my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I definitely agree that it swung more Burroughs for me, but I'm not ready to say that it's purely Burroughs now. I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't think it'll be purely Burroughs. I could see it being a 3-match set again. With Dake taking one of them, and he's good enough. He probably will take one, but
where are the trials at?
Win or
home mat advantage?
Oh yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was in Lincoln last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we should get to these women's matches because I want to talk. There's one I really want to talk about. Tamira versus Adeline.
Okay, so hold on real quick. Sorry, we're trying to hire somebody at my high school, so I'm texting people. But before we get into that, I haven't even said it. What we wanted to talk about today is the top women's matchups we'd like to see, right? So with everything going on, I'm not playing into that whole deal. And like, we don't even need to talk about, who supports women's wrestling, Greco, whatever, who cares? We wanted to talk about some women's matches that we'd really love to see, and really try to shine a light on that. Cause dude, women have some of the best matches I've ever seen. Right. And so we definitely need to shine a light more on that. And Jack said it best kind of before we got on the show. Take us back 10 years or whatever, when you wanted to see freestyle wrestling, right? Freestyle wrestling wasn't even that big for us for a little while there. And so you had to like really go and seek it out. And right now it's the same situation with women's and Greco, right? It's not as mainstream as freestyle is. And so people need to get on their computer and go seek it out, right? And I'll be the first one to say that I need to do it as well. I've watched all the men's stuff and kept up with it so well just because it's right there pushed in my face. But I haven't been seeking out women's and Greco as much, and I need to get on it and I'm excited because there's a whole new untapped world that I haven't dove into. So I'm definitely excited to get into it. But Earl and Jack have been thinking a lot about some good matchups, and we wanted to highlight some of those women's and maybe even some Greco wrestlers if we got some, and get into some matches that we'd like to see. So
yep,
that's kind of our prelude to it. But Jack, go ahead. Sorry, I jumped in.
No, yeah, I'll just add on, like, the matches are out there. So back in the day, it was, even for folk style, like, it's hard to find some of these matches when we were doing like the NCAA champions duels or best to never win it. It was hard to find them. But Flow covers all the USA Wrestling events. Flow has all these women's matches. You can go back and watch the World Championships on track. Go and promote. Go find a favorite wrestler. I think start with that, and then post about them. Make it known that you want to see more women's matches, because Flow's a business. They're going to go to the money. And right now it's the only business we have. I'm all for competition, and they're all for competition too. Someone wants to go and stream women's matches, promote women's matches, then Flow's going to promote and stream women's matches as well more. Go get a favorite women's wrestler. Mine is Tamira. She's awesome. I wore her shirt actually at the event, and she found out about it, and she texted me and was super excited about it. And she has this awesome personality, and Colleen, my girlfriend, and I, we watch her and keep up with her, follow her on Instagram. So, yeah, the main match I would want to see is a super match between her and Adeline. And I think, I don't know, y'all, what do y'all think? Especially, like, Earl, because Jacob's wrestling integrity is super at stake here.
Especially Earl, because Jacob doesn't matter. I get it. All right.
No, I mean, I think, yeah, that's what probably your two top women right now for the U.S. Kind of hard to say exactly where Helen Maroulis is at, but yeah, that would be an incredible match. Adeline Gray has just the leg lace. I mean, she's going to get exposure on pretty much anybody. Tamira's kind of really developed into well-rounded, a little bit of good at everything. She wasn't as experienced on the mat, even as a year or two ago, but she's really, been able to get some scores from parterre. She's pretty diverse as far as her offensive attacks. So yeah, I mean, that's probably the number one match if we're doing catch weights and stuff that I'd go for.
She tech followed her way to the finals and then won 8-2 in the finals, and it was 4 takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was watching some matches with both of them last night. I didn't have a whole lot of time. Wanted to watch a movie with the wife, but I was watching those two, and I really, it would be a fun one to watch, but I got Tamira. I think she'd win. I don't know. I just think I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, and I want to hear who you guys think would win. But yeah,
I mean, I think Adeline is very, she's super experienced and going to have the size and I think a reach advantage, and she'll probably be able to neutralize Tamira a little bit on her feet. And then, the big thing is if she can get that takedown and, she just blows matches open, the blink of an eye with the lace and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I think at this point in time, Adeline's maybe a little well-rounded, a little too much of a veteran, but it's definitely a great thing to think about.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. And I say saw that, like I've watched plenty of matches before. But yeah, if Adeline gets a takedown at any point in there, then it's definitely going to put the match in jeopardy because she's so good on top, man. So good. But I don't know. Just watching the two, I think I like Tamira a little bit more on the feet. Jack, what do you think?
I would go with Tamira, and I think it just depends on if she believes she can, because right now no one knows her ceiling. She hasn't been pushed at all ever since she believes she can win, and I think that belief goes a long way, and I think she is our best women's wrestler right now, and she hasn't really been touched, ever since she kind of got into her throne. The size advantage is a lot, though. Like it's 8 kilos, like 20 pounds. That's a good amount of weight to be given up. So I don't know.
Hold up, Jack. All right, you shut down my match last night that I wanted to see because of a weight advantage, and now you're sitting here telling me there's a 20-pound difference,
No,
and
what
you're
was
cool
the weight
with that.
advantage? Wait, what did you want to watch?
I said that the match that I would want to see is Jakara and Helen. And you shut me down and was like, nope, weight's too big of a deal.
That's like it's still going to be a 10-pound difference. And it's at a smaller weight. I think that matters more when you're at a smaller weight than it does at a bigger weight.
What do you think about that one, Earl? With Jakara Winchester and Helen Maroulis, if that one were to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go with Helen with the size, and again, I like the veteranness of Helen, kind of along the same lines of what Jack was saying just now about Tamira, Jakara has really come into her own in the past, year or so. So I really don't even know what her ceiling is quite yet. So, maybe that's a match in the future. If she gets more confidence, she gets more seasoning that, maybe she could take. But if we're doing this now, I'd have to go with Helen. But at the same time, I think she's been away from the mat for a while. So at this time, I'm not sure whether it's 2017 Helen or, what we're talking about, because she was just dominant, maybe the, best woman on the planet at that point.
Oh, yeah. When she was with Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'd rather see Jakara Ali first. If we're gonna do like a bump up sort of thing, and then maybe Helen. I watched the Helen Ali match this morning, and it was kind of like I don't think Ali can take her down,
Mm-hmm.
and it seemed like Helen only took one shot and scored. Like I don't want to say easily, but she fell right into a takedown. It was sweet. She disappeared right into a takedown. When Helen's on, she is the best woman in the world. So that's why I'd want to see Jakara Ali first. I think that's a clash of styles too, because Ali kind of has that Iowa style bang on your head sort of style, and Jakara is a scorer from her feet and a technician. So that would be a fun one for me. And then maybe she goes through her, then Helen.
Yeah. So as far as, if I'm making matches and I'm talking about selling tickets, selling subscriptions, and a match we're probably going to see, I'd love to do Forrest Tamira, just because I feel like it's just two distinct personalities. As Jack, as Jack mentioned, go if you're not familiar with these women, go watch an interview with Tamira. She's just a great personality, kind of off the wall, but very engaging. And then you have Forrest, who kind of, even though she's not at Iowa, she kind of personifies that Iowa mentality that drew all the fans to like her. So I really think it's something, if produced right, you could really make it a cool lead up to those two. Now, the actual on match, I don't think it would be that great of a match. I think Tamira would.
It'd be a
like, yeah.
I mean, but Snowflake sells.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I gotta say, Jack, you said kind of when we started this whole thing, you said Tamira was your favorite women's wrestler. Forrest is mine. She's exciting, man. And I agree. I think if that match happened, it's gonna be a tag. I agree, Jack.
You're probably a McGregor fan too.
Oh yeah, dude, come on. All right, listen. The matches are obviously, it's fun to watch, but you can't discount the hype and the all the antics before the match and the interviews. Forrest throwing F-bombs and flow interviews and stuff. It's exciting, man. I mean,
oh no, I agree. But Tamira would kill her.
And I mean, you kind of.
We're gonna get that match, right? We're gonna get it.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
So I mean, it's not gonna be close, in my opinion. Prove me wrong, I guess. Go out and do it, Forrest, if you're listening. But right now, Tamira's the number one pound for pound woman in the world. So it's a lofty goal, lofty accomplishment. That's what I think.
You're poking fun at me for liking the big personalities, but I think also, like, at least in my head, I kind of put them into categories. Like, there's people that are really exciting to watch, right? The McGregors, the people that are kind of like showmen, right? And they're really like love them or hate them, you have to watch, right? Like a Thomas Gilman when he was there. Like, whether you loved Thomas Gilman or hated Thomas Gilman, you watched, right? But there's also dudes and women that aren't that way, but are my favorites too, right? I kind of have like two like columns, right? I mean, in college wrestling, for example, like obviously I'm an Iowa guy, but like I love DeSanto, right? All the antics, all the crazy stuff, just wild things. But if you ask me like who's my favorite, just pure wrestler, it's gonna change, right? Like off of, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You think
No,
about
I
it?
get that. I get that. You gotta like a Masvidal Usman sort of situation. So after their post-fight interviews, Masvidal had over 1 million views. Usman had 300,000.
Yep.
Usman won dominantly, the champ. He's just not as flashy, like out off the mat.
So that's UFC is a great example for me, right? Because if you ask me who's my favorite guy to watch of all time, UFC, it might be Conor, right? Just because of how exciting everything around it is, right? Like, dude, I'll watch the press conference, I'll watch the weigh-ins, I'll watch everything, right?
Yeah. Well,
But
the
if you ask
pre-match
me,
is more fun than the actual match.
yeah, but if you ask me who my favorite actual fighter, I'm a huge GSP fan, George St. Pierre, right? I don't think he was the most flashy. He didn't even finish a lot of guys, but I think he's probably one of the best, if not the best of all time. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's two different things for me. Yeah.
No, I get that. It's like a perfect thing because Tamira is the better wrestler. Forrest is the better showman.
Yeah. Well,
that
what
would
else?
be a fun one for
What
sure.
other matches do we got that we'd love to see?
For me, that's it on domestically. I was gonna say Jakara versus the North Korean that won last year at 53, which is we're gonna get eventually. But this girl teched her way through the tournament dominantly. Like got 3 points scored on her and teched everybody else. And got a pin in a minute once too. So the head and shoulders best girl at 53 kilos versus probably the head and shoulders best girl at 55. I think that's going to make for a really fun match. I think her name's Park, or let me check real quick.
So another thing that I think is exciting, and if you're listening in and you're not a big women's wrestling fan, you haven't followed it a whole lot. Like I said, I haven't even followed it a whole lot, but I do follow it some, and I think that it's a cool thing to get on board with a train that's moving and is really picking up steam, right? Like for years and years, Japan has just dominated, right? If you look on women's wrestling, like if you just followed, was it UWW or whoever that puts out the world champions after on Instagram, right? Where you like flip through and see the world champions in each weight. It's literally like Japan, 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 US, Japan, 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 somebody else, Japan. Like it's all Japan, right? And so I think it's really exciting, especially right now, because we're having so many women that are breaking through and like really leading the charge on taking down Japan. I don't know. For me, I think that's really exciting that you have this juggernaut that's just been at the top for so long, and they're still at the top, but we're getting there and we're chasing. And I think it's something kind of cool to latch on board with and really have something to pull for, because I think it's not as exciting if we were the top, right? It's not as exciting to jump on and be like, oh yeah, I love women's wrestling, we're the best. But if you really get into the sport now and start watching while all these girls are breaking through, it's going to be really cool when we eventually get there and we're at the top.
So kind of along with what you were saying, I put out girls high school class of 22 rankings yesterday, actually, top 100, and that's going to be the group. Like maybe we beat Japan before then, but the girls in this high school class, your upcoming juniors, these are the ones that 10 years from now we're going to be talking about. You're going to see the top two at that weight class at who's number one, with Kennedy Blades and Amit Ilor out of California.
She trains in NYC sometimes. New York
Yeah.
City trains there. She's sick.
Yep. Those are the two.
And this was like when she was 15, maybe. Like I would see her train. Really good. And I was told that she was giving Tamira some matches. Like that's how good she is at that age. I'm excited to see her on the next level. I think she's going to dominate, and she's going to be the next Adeline, next JB or Jordan Burroughs, like the next American that we look at and we're like, dang, like GOAT conversation.
In this class of girls in high school, there's 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 other ones, maybe not to her level, but pretty close, and they're going to do some damage whenever we have another junior worlds, cadet worlds, whatever.
Yeah, I think as soon as she can try out for a world team, like as soon as she's old enough, she's gonna make it and win.
Yeah, she got
Like,
a bronze.
she's that good.
She got a cadet bronze last year.
Okay.
I think it was kind of a crappy match in the semis against the Japanese girl, kind of like a 2-1 match where I thought she was the better wrestler, but I'm probably a homer.
I still am on the train. I think that she's going to be unreal, and by the time her career is done, it'll be like, wow. Like, she's the best prospect we have in high school, I think, right now.
And then you got Kennedy Blades, who's actually above her, and she's won pretty much everything. Fargo at both levels a couple times, and that was people were talking about a week ago what was the high school girls match to make, and that was the match. And I'll give Flo props for at least getting it done. I know they tried to do it last year, and I don't know why it fell through, but it did. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, man. They're the women's division, or women's wrestling is growing on all levels, right? We have some great girls on the senior level. We have great girls coming through the pipeline. I mean, you can watch depending on where you're at, you can watch fantastic women's wrestling in high school right now. I know that for me, just thinking about it while you guys are talking, coaching in North Carolina, if you ask me who's my favorite high school wrestler right now in the state of North Carolina, it's a girl, and it's not even close.
Is it the girl that she won the boys division, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I can say her name or not, so I guess I won't. But you can look it up. North Carolina had its first ever women's state champion in a guys division, and I will tell you, my wrestlers at state lost, right? So they were out well before. I stayed a whole extra day because I wanted to watch her compete. She is amazing, man. I definitely would suggest going and watch her. Look up North Carolina girl wins state championship, whatever it is. I don't know if I can say her name or not. I don't want to do that, but she destroyed people, man. I mean, it wasn't even close. I remember she just muscled people around. I'm pretty sure she either teched or pinned the dude in the semifinals, and then the finals she measured the guy and absolutely just ran through him. And it was a really cool experience too, just to see the entire crowd and the whole arena. You have, I guess in North Carolina we have 4 divisions, so you have 4 different mats going on for the finals, and the entire stadium is just exploding when she won. It was really cool, man.
Yeah, I think kind of like what how Jack started off this conversation with, go out there and find women or girls that you're fans of, and like Jacob was saying, the first Final X in State College, when everybody's there to watch David Taylor and Kyle Dake, and of course they're the ones that sell tickets, but probably the best match, the best series of that event was at 72 kilos with Erin Claudio and Rachel Waters. And I would guess most of them that were in the building had no idea who they were. But, afterwards, that's what people were talking about. You had the same thing with Kayla Miracle and Mallory Velty at that same event. They went to 3 matches, and those 2 have went back and forth. So I just feel like if they're out there, they're on one of these cards, and you're exposed to it, you're going to become a fan of some of these women, because they are great.
I was actually there because Nick Reenan was in final.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah, I'm coming to watch you, man. Because he's like never All-American. He made Final X, so it's like He has an All-American yet. I think he's a title contender next year if he stays healthy. But anyways, went up there, and I don't think any of the guys' matches went three. Like, it was kind of dominant.
Yeah.
Joey McKenna gave Logan Stieber a hell of a match, the first one, but the second one wasn't close. And it was the same thing with Dake and Zahid. And then Nick got smashed by David Taylor. But the girls' matches were the highlight for sure. And people were excited and enjoyed it while it was going on. So
Yeah.
definitely go out and watch for sure.
I think, obviously they're talking about doing more of these cards and, whether it be on Flow or Fight TV or whoever, right? I think one of the things that people talked about was it wasn't very long, right? And obviously we had the big delay, but like it's hard because for the UFC, these guys are fighting 3 5-minute rounds or 5 5-minute rounds, and we can't do that for wrestling. Right? That's not something that we can do. But what I think we can do, and what I think is good for everybody, is instead of having, what do we have, 4 or 5 matches? Why not have 10 and sprinkle in women's wrestling, Greco? You could throw in a high school match. Like we could have free co matches people are talking about. I mean, I would love to see all of that.
I'm not for those personally.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. I'm just not for them. I think
Jack's
I get
not for
it.
it. Cancel the sport. It's over.
No, hear me out. I just don't see the point. I understand it would help the Greco guys get more recognition because it'd be they'd probably smash the freestyle guy in Greco, and then the freestyle guy would smash the Greco guy in freestyle. But I'm about the competition. I'm about someone winning. How can you? They're two different things.
Yeah.
For the promotion, yeah, I guess I'm in. But personally, I'm all about the competitiveness.
I think it's good just to get, like you're saying, get those guys out there, those names out there, right? Because if you don't, I agree, right? It's going to be a bloodbath both ways, in my opinion, right? If you put, the top Greco guys, right? If you put Kamal Bey with, I don't know, who's his weight? Somebody good freestyle, right? Whoever it is. Kyle Dake, right? Kamal Bey, Kyle Dake. If you put it out there, right, Kyle Dake's going to destroy him in freestyle. Okay. Kyle Dake might be one of the ones that could hang Greco wise. But even if whatever way it goes, even if Kyle Dake won in both of them, people are going to see Kamal Bey, and they're probably going to see him do something crazy, and they're going to like it, and they're going to want to see more of it, and they're going to go watch it on YouTube. Right. Or
yeah.
wherever.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I just want to see some wins. I think it'd be cool if Flow or whatever organization started drifting towards a UFC, especially if it doesn't this Corona stuff doesn't change. Someone start drifting towards a UFC top 15 ranking, championship fights, get a belt, something fun like that. Especially if we can't go overseas, and it's so much easier to contain a bubble when it's just the way they did it this weekend. It was ran perfectly. Everyone was isolated in a hotel. There was training in the hotel. There was a sauna in the hotel. There was the competition in the hotel. Everything was there. It's perfect.
That's what I wanted to bring up. I was talking with some friends yesterday. If this is kind of sustainable, just because there's nothing really at stake. It was cool. Rumble on the Rooftop was the first event on 100 days. This, is the second. So, as we have more of these, are people going to care less if there's no championship belt, if there's no ranking, if there's no whatever on the line, if it's just two good guys wrestling, is that going to draw the interest of wrestling people?
Yeah,
I definitely think so. I think it would be more. I think it would be better.
I do too. And I think they could even keep it simple, and they could go only Olympic weights, right? So how many weight classes is that? 6, right? So do the Olympic weight classes.
You gotta have a
and
61 kilo.
have a belt do that. I don't know. I think something like that'd be fun. I definitely would tune in to watch all of them.
I don't think you need a 79 and a 92 because we're not competing for a team title, but I think a 70 and a 61, throw those back in there.
But you could even shuffle them or whatever, right? But yeah, I think something like that would be really fun, good to watch. We only got about 5 minutes left. There's one thing I kind of wanted to wind down with. There's been rumblings of Flo doing it again, and I'm interested. What match would you guys like to see if there was another card? And I'll start it off because I already threw it out there. I'd love to see Seth and Yanni. Would love to see it.
Seth's trying to get down to 57. I don't
Yeah.
think that's a match to make.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love Gilman and Spencer Lee. You got
Gilman, Spencer, Fix, Spencer, Soriano, Spencer, any of those guys. I just want to see more freestyle Spencer because it helps me.
Yeah.
Gable, Gwiz. That would be intriguing.
Gable Snyder.
Snyder Cox.
Yeah.
I
mean, 65, you got like 10 different guys you can make good matches with.
Jake Burrows, Imar, Imar, Daringer. I know that's a catch weight. James Green Burrows.
Yeah.
Man, I wish so badly that Burrows and David Taylor were not as far apart in weight now. I wish that they were closer. I would love to see that one run back. But
I always thought Taylor gave Burrows a worse style matchup than anyone.
Well, I think like David is so much better than the last time they wrestled, and I wish they were close enough to wrestle again. I'd love to see it.
Love to see it. I agree. 65, Jo versus Yanni. I think Yanni versus anyone really.
Yeah. I mean, you got McKenna, Zane. Yeah, I don't know. All those guys.
That RBY match would be fun. Because he's big enough. I think that freestyle will be interesting with Seth and RBY. Their folk style match was really close, but I think that their freestyle match could go either way.
Yeah.
At heavyweight, Kirk Fleet, I'd like to see, where he stacks up against some of those guys because he's had some good international success.
Yeah,
Gable,
for sure.
I think Gable's gonna be on the next one. He posted something where he tweeted it out. So
yeah, because they messaged him, were like, "Hey, would you want to wrestle this guy?"
Got to be Gable Gwiz. I know that they wrestled last year. I think it's gonna be different, man.
I want to see Gable Snyder.
Gable Snyder would be crazy, huh?
Yeah, that's what I want to see, man.
I've got Snyder, but I could see it going either way because Gable's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
He also runs like a 4.640, which is just a terrifying thought because he's gigantic and he's just absolutely unreal.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I'm about to have to go, so we're gonna have to wind this thing down. Do you guys have any last words on this conversation, women's wrestling in general, whatever, before we go?
Yeah, just reminder, just go find a favorite women's wrestler, support women's wrestling. Go support Greco wrestling. Find a favorite Greco guy. Post about him. Tweet about him. Make it known that you want to see more of it, and take it into your own hands. Social media is powerful. Go promote them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and money talks. So support them somehow with your money. Let people know that you have money you want to spend on, Greco, women's wrestling, or whatever, your preference is.
Yeah, absolutely. Buy a shirt, buy a sticker, whatever they're selling, do something like that, support it. I know that, Earl's got a lot of really good content over there on the open mat for women's wrestling. USA Wrestling, Track Wrestling, they put out good stuff too. And so, go consume the content, find latch onto a good women's wrestler, pick your favorite, watch some good matches. Let us know what you think, man. But thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.